Okay, cool. So I am in the House of Learning here at TRU at the very basement. It's TRU Generator. Across from me is Nikki. We actually met over a year now online, but not really online, in an actual physical hiking group that organized online called Hiking Addiction, which a mutual friend who's now left Kamloops organized, and that group still exists. So if you're looking for hiking buddies, Hiking Addiction is a great place to check out. Yeah. But Nikki and I, we went on, which hike was it?
That was the Thanksgiving hike. I think it was the Mara Mountain through the sort of crevasses of the back of Kamloops there, right by the compost facility and the train tracks at
Oh yeah,
back
no.
of Trunk-Hill.
Yeah, no, that was Cinnamon Ridge.
Cinnamon Ridge, yeah.
Yeah. I've tried to go up there once since, and I've got lost because you have to follow the creek bed, and I couldn't find the creek bed, and then I ended up somewhere else. Yeah.
But a good leader for sure is necessary.
Yeah, Josh. Yeah, he makes an app to help people not get lost on hikes around town, so you can always check that out. But that's where we met. I'm looking at your backpack now. It's a hiking backpack or an outdoorsy backpack. What's kind of your hiking background? Where do you like to hike around town?
Well, actually, I started hiking because I was severely overweight like 6 years ago. And so with that, I wanted to, I felt kind of weird because I didn't want to be left behind with my friends going hiking and having all these adventures and seeing sunsets. And so I thought, hey, I really want to get into this. So I used to just go to Peterson's Creek and then just hike till I felt really sick and then come back home. And I did that every day or every couple days. And then it was like twice a week I would start hiking. And then we went to bigger places. We went to Wells Gray and we went out to the far end of Trunk-Hill and kept going. And now it's turned into this sort of love for the outdoors and now rock climbing. So I'm kind of more into that side of things. But it all started with just wanting to get healthier and not miss an opportunity to see a good landscape or a place. So, yeah.
Well, I never would have noticed or guessed that that's your backstory. So you've moved on to rock climbing, which admittedly, coming from Ontario, I haven't actually put my hands on real rock, living in BC for over 5 or so years now.
Yeah.
Have you been doing a lot of outdoor climbing or mostly at the gym? And tell me about the rock climbing community, I guess.
Yeah, so we've actually got a really good Kamloops community called the Kamloops Climbers Access Fund. I've climbed in, actually my first year, I hitchhiked to Fernie, climbed at 3 different crags there. I also climbed about 10 different crags all over BC in my first year, so definitely touched a lot of rock. And some of the best quality crags actually in BC exist in Kamloops, to the north, to the west, and then a little bit far east in Barnhart Vale. So there's a ton of variety and a ton of things to do. And you can take just about anybody out because there's a lot of easy access climbs and then some of your harder expert climbs. So.
Well, as someone who knows a little bit about rock climbing, because I used to do a little bit of guiding, what is a crag for someone who might not know? Yeah,
so a crag is basically like an approach location where there is rock to be climbed. So a place to throw your rope down, a place to set everything up. For example, there's actually a crag called the Beach, and it's the Savinaw rest stop area. So you would get out for your rest stop and your pee, but you're actually at a climbing crag. You just can't see it from the road.
Oh, so like as I'm just past Tobiano, where that first washroom is before you start driving into the distance, is that where it is?
That's it, yeah.
Oh, cool. I've heard about it. Yeah. I've never actually been there. To be honest, my hands are pretty at this point.
Yeah.
They're a little bit too soft for my liking, but I'll definitely have to check it out. Yeah. Where did you start, or how did you start rock climbing?
Actually, a funny story. I was interested in a guy, and I found out that he was a rock climber and went to the gym, so I just started kind of like pseudo-stalking him at the gym. And then at that point, I fell in love with it in the first couple months, so then he kind of asked me on a date or, that kind of thing, and then we ended up just climbing all over BC for a couple years, and we were dating for a long time. So
To level with you, I did the same thing. Yeah. But now I'm expecting a kid. So different.
Yeah, totally.
It was yoga in that case. My parents didn't know her name for the first couple months. And they actually didn't know her name until I told them I was going to marry her. And then I told them her name. So it worked out in the end. But you've met her, Kayla.
Yeah.
We're expecting come April. But you're at school. Well, we're at TRU right now. Yeah. I went to TRU. What are you taking at TRU?
I'm actually interested in geography and environmental studies, so working a lot on projects related to sustainability, sort of understanding how our social world fits in with the physical world, and seeing sort of correlations or problems or issues, in socioeconomic status, etc. That's been a love of mine for a long time. But also I'm running a sort of a green business as well, so it kind of lines up with the love of environmental studies and sort of entrepreneurship. So yeah.
Totally, yeah. And Kamloops at that interesting crossroads as it figures out its next economy, whether it be tech or whether they continue down the resource extraction route, or obviously they need to hopefully find a balance of that there too. So it's definitely an interesting place for you to be playing in, which I think is why it's kind of fitting that you're here at TRU Generator. Luckily, you didn't know about this place, so now you do, and hopefully some other people check it out. Yeah. Where they will help you figure out what you should build first. Yeah. You have an idea, they'll help bring it to life, teach you what's it called, an MVP, right? So your minimal viable product. For me, it was get a podcast and ship it, but from our little bit of conversations, it sounds like you've already found some clients, you've grown 300%, and now you're trying to scale. Is that kind of what you're at the point now? You want it more than just yourself? You want to build a community around your business?
Yeah, sort of, yeah. So I run a cleaning and organizing service that I just started in June or so, and the idea isn't to actually have a business that generates a lot of profit necessarily. It's more about providing opportunities to have people learn about business and to be a part of a business that's locally run by a student. So, I mean, most places you have to go apply for the work, and then you have to, go through an interview, and then you have to, then you have the job, and then you go through all the training and yada, 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 the certifications. But in this case, I want to kind of work as a partnership with the people who come into the company as employees, reduce the amount of turnover, and increase the amount of client satisfaction and overall results of what we're trying to achieve, which is just great service for a great price point. So.
Okay, and so are you looking to recruit more students? Is that kind of who you're looking for? Or?
Yeah, definitely. So any students that would be interested in more entrepreneurial things, maybe people that, for example, are in their early to mid 20s and have worked as a manager at, let's say, a fast food place, or have done housekeeping, but they want something where they can kind of take the reins on their own. And a lot of businesses and places make you start from the bottom and work your way up, whereas here I treat people as equals. So they're going to come in as an equal opportunist, and then as time goes on, they can work to their strengths, or we can help them out. Or, if maybe they're not suited to the job, they might be able to find something, related, but at least try us out and see what they like. So.
Yeah, totally. And if they find that they have that drive to build something themselves, but it's not with you, right? That's where TRU Generator exists. Yeah. And, Kamloops Innovation Center, which I was at earlier today for the 10 at 10, which is a 10-minute talk about whatever topic someone decides to chat about then. And in both circles, right, it's all about meeting people one-on-one and seeing if your business interests align. And for us today, right, my interest is to share stories. You have stories, but your interest is also, right, is to promote your business. And
that's right.
I think it's also important to be open and honest about your intentions, right? And so that's why I wanted to have that quick talk. But thinking already to the summer, what are your plans for the summer? Any rock climbing trips on the bucket list?
Yeah, well, hopefully, I'm hoping to sort of get the clients all set in stone. Everybody's just kind of usually what we do is we have a set it and forget it kind of mode, where we have a client who books for a certain amount of services and they're just booked in. So hopefully we just get that all laid out before July, and then we can have our fun for sure. Yeah. So I'm doing some rock climbing here in town locally, trying to get some people out to maybe Squamish or the Kootenays. And then as well, I mix it in with a bit of fun at festivals and that kind of thing. Just, music festivals like Arts Wells and the Roots and Blues and Salmon Arms. So
where does the local rock climbing community congregate? Not in a physical space, because obviously that's a climbing gym, but which is Cliffside, the only one in town. Where does the online community congregate? Is there a localized spot?
Yeah, well, I mean, we do have the Kamloops, the Climbing Association that meets. I think they meet once a month. I believe it's Wednesdays or Thursdays at the end of the month. And so they have a lot to do with the access to the routes, to development, to the trails. Like they talk about trail modification and trail maintenance. Sort of they're community based. They're sort of like the bike riding association in town. Not as many members, but yeah, definitely that's where they convene. They usually go to Redbeard or something like that. Have their once a month meeting, but it's very much based on communication. So they'll see each other in the gym or in the community, and they'll have a 5-minute talk about a route that needs development or needs changing, and then someone will actually just be an action based person and go and fix it. So
yeah, that's awesome. Like you see something, let's do it. And I think that's awesome about the rock climbing community, and you have those rules, not set in stone, to make a bad pun, but there is some, I guess, what's the right word? Some criteria that when you're setting a route, there's that those unwritten rules about rock climbing and stuff, and it's really cool that there's routes still being set. Is there certain areas that people are still exploring? Is there more rock to climb around here?
Yeah. Well, the nice thing is in the last 2 years, we've actually developed 2 bouldering areas within 100 kilometers of this area. One is out towards Cache Creek, and the other one is behind the Sun Rivers area. So they're
Sun Rivers.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Let's pull it back a little bit. Bouldering, for those who don't know, is where you climb very low heights with a mat that will catch your fall. If you do happen to fall, and so it's just completely free hand, but it's typically under 8, 10, 12 feet maybe max.
Yeah. You definitely need multiple mats depending on the height and depending on the terrain that you're on. So,
but at that point, right? Everyone has their own one mat and a pair of shoes and some chalk, and away you go. Right at that point, definitely should take some classes when it comes to the actual act of bouldering. But where at Sun Rivers is it? Where?
So it's basically just a popular hiking trail that's between Sun Rivers and the Rivershore Golf Course.
Okay.
It's just a set of a few boulders actually. But there's somebody in our community developed a whole guide for it. There's route problems. So that's basically like the route from the bottom to the top. It'll show you sort of a linear upward area of the rock, and it'll give a very nice picture of the rock. It'll tell you sort of the approach, like what you're going to experience. Maybe there'd be like a bird nest on top you have to watch for. So all those details are in the guide, and so we rely heavily on these guides created by people in our community to best suit our climbing and not to prevent injury or any kind of things like that.
It's a collaborative effort, right?
Yeah.
And through collaboration, there's also that sustainable part, right? Because we want to protect the lands around it, because we want these crags or boulder routes, as you guys call them. I can't really call myself a climber anymore, but it'd be nice to see them in 100 years, right? So and as the day that they were first set.
Definitely.
Nikki, what kind of final parting words do you kind of want to share? Where can people find you as we come to the close of the Kameo podcast?
Well, you will find me out and about climbing or running on trails or wherever. You can definitely find us on Facebook too if you want to look up any business-related stuff, or just Neat and Tidy Kamloops on Facebook. And as well, if you ever want to try rock climbing or hiking in any way, come out and check out the climbing gym, talk to a few people, and see if you can get on board on a trip, with some ropes and some gear. We're more than happy to include newbies to our car and our ride. So
yeah, and if ropes aren't your thing, I'm part of the Kamloops Ridge Runners, which is a local trail running community. So if you'd rather keep your feet on the ground, check us out. We're always looking for new members. Again, not profit, really affordable yearly membership, and a great time. But thank you for chatting with me, Nikki, and good luck on your business this summer. And keep on crushing new routes.
Thanks, Nevin.